Good afternoon, students. In today's class, we will continue our voltage control technique lecture with some internal voltage control techniques. So, as in my previous lecture, I will discuss the necessity of why voltage controlling is necessary in inverters, and we will see some external control strategies in which we will see that at the input side of the inverter, if we apply different types of controllers, then we can control the output voltage of the inverter. But what is the problem with that is the number of stages are increasing, as well as number of switching losses occurs is much higher. So we will not use external techniques, and also the external techniques have disadvantage that it produces the harmonics at the output side of the our AC voltage waveform. So we will now discuss some internal control strategies in which we will apply control technique within the inverter itself. So thus we can reduce the number of stages as well as switching harmonics. So in internal control strategies, which are also known as pulse width modulation technique, in this PWM lecture we will see single PWM technique, multiple PWM technique, as well as sinusoidal PWM techniques. So first of all we will start with single PWM technique. So what is the PWM means? It is a pulse width modulation. So if the width of the pulse we can modulate, then we will control the output voltage of the inverters. Let's see, only one pulse per half cycle, only one pulse per half cycle, and the width of the pulse is varied to control the inverter output voltage. So why its name is single PWM? Because in per half cycle, that is of pi duration, only one pulse is obtained at the output side. So this is a one pulse PWM. And if we control the width of the pulse, we will control the inverter output voltage. We will see these pulse width in this graphical manner below. So let us realize this technique for a single phase full bridge inverter. So we will apply this technique to single phase full bridge inverter case, in which four thyristor switches are there. So four gate pulses are required. So we will see how pulses are generates, what the topologies is there behind this generation of pulses. So first of all, this is the AC, that is a carrier wave which is a triangular in shape, and second one is the reference signal which is having rectangular in shape, having a time period of 2 pi. So two pulses are there, one is a carrier pulse, second one is the reference pulse. So carrier pulse is triangular in nature and reference pulse is rectangular in nature. So carrier signal having a frequency of Fc and magnitude of AC, uh, and at the same time reference signal has a frequency of Fr and amplitude of Ar as denoted in this waveform. So we will draw this carrier wave which is triangular, and this reference wave which is rectangular as shown in the figure. And what the topology behind this? So we will pass this carrier signal having a frequency in kilohertz ranges, and to a comparator, and comparator, what it does, it compares carrier wave with the reference wave and generates pulse for the thyristor switches. So if carrier signal having amplitude higher than the reference signal amplitude, if the carrier signal having amplitude which is AC, which is higher than AR, which is reference signal amplitude, then the pulses for the thyristor switches T1 T2 are applied. At the same time, if AC less than AR, then pulses for the thyristor switches T3 and T4 are applied. So Ig1, Ig2 are the gate pulses for the two thyristor switches, which is T1 and T2, and Ig3, Ig4 are the gate pulses for thyristor T3 and T4. So in the positive half cycle, that is 0 to pi duration, this is 0 to pi, either here it is pi there and it is 2 pi there. So Ig1 and Ig2 are the pulses for the thyristor switches T1 and T2 respectively. So in this positive half cycle, as we can see from this waveform, that carrier wave, this AC, that is a carrier waveform having amplitude higher than the reference. So this pulse is obtained by comparison of these two waveforms. So there are two intersecting points of these two waveforms, and if we draw perpendicular line to x-axis, then we can see that by comparison of this carrier wave with the reference signal, one pulse is generated in the half cycle. At the same time, if AC less than AR, which is seen in the negative part of this waveform from pi to 2 pi, so pulse from the negative part is generated, which is shown in the Ig3 Ig4. So it is a pulse for T3 and T4 respectively. So this pulse is generated for the T3 and T4 switches of the thyristor of a full bridge inverter. So these are the pulse generation. How pulse are generated? In positive half cycle, AC greater than AR, so pulses T1 T2 are generated by the comparator, and in the negative half cycle and AC less than AR, so pulses for the rest of the thyristor switches T3 T4 are generated. So what we assume, so when the pulses are generated means thyristor switches are conducting, so they will make a path for the current to flow. So in this case, in full bridge case, output voltage is obtained as Vs. Vs is the fixed input DC voltage, that is VDC. So in output, with the voltage waveform as shown in the figure, which having a pulse is a square wave because it is a VSI inverter, so square waveform is there, and having a magnitude of Vs on the y-axis, and this is a pulse width of 2d in the positive half cycle, and similar pulse is obtained having magnitude of minus Vs in the negative half cycle when the thyristor switches T3 and T4 are conducting, so minus VDC is obtained. So what we assume here is that the total pulse width is 2d of the one pulse in half cycle. So we will define 2d by this is a half cycle pulse width, and up to 0 to pi, if we take center point of this pulse, that is pi by 2, and total pulse width is 2d, so half is divided, so this is pi by 2 minus d and this is pi by 2 plus d. So up to 0 to this level, this x-axis, the width of total is from 0 to pi by 2, it is a pi by 2. If we subtract d from pi by 2, then it is pi by 2 minus d, and if from 0 to 0 to pi by 2, and if we add d from here, then it will be pi by 2 plus d from starting point. So this is the pulse width calculation, and again we will proceed. So 2d we will define 2d equals to total pulse width in each half cycle. So half cycle means up to pi, 2d is the pulse width. So by default we will assume not d, we will assume 2d is the pulse width in each half cycle. If we apply comparator with a triangular wave, that is a carrier wave, and a square wave which is a rectangular square wave, so we apply to comparator, then it will provide pulses for the thyristor switches. When AC select the gate pulse for T1 T2, plus AC means AC greater than AR, and when minus AC, then select pulses for the T3 and T4. It will discussed in earlier. So the what is the RMS output voltage? So this is a square waveform of the output voltage. So we can write the RMS value by seeing up to pi. This is a half cycle, and in the half cycle 2d is the conduction time of this pulse. So we will write up from pi, it is conducting up to 2d and whole raised to the power 1 by 2 for the RMS, and it will have the magnitude of Vs. So Vs into 2d upon pi whole raised to the power 1 by 2, this is the RMS output voltage of the full bridge inverter. So in this expression we will see that by varying the d, which is 2d or d, we can control the output RMS voltage. So in previous techniques, the output RMS voltage we does not dependency on the pulse width, but in this expression, as we vary the 2d, which is the per half cycle width, then if we change d, then output RMS can be controlled. So d, how we can change the d? We have changed d to control the output voltage, but how can we change the this d, which is the pulse width? So If D changes due to AR reference signal, therefore V0 can be controlled. See, in above diagram, we will take width of this level of this reference pulse is in a square shape. If we increase its level from AR to something AR1, if we increase the level AR1, and if now we will draw the perpendicular lines, then we by the intersection of this by the comparison of these two parts, sorry for the disturbance, and if we mark lines from here and from here by shifting the amplitude of this pulse reference pulse from AR to AR1, so the now the pulses are generated having a width of greater than 2D. So this is the pulse width. So by changing the reference waveform magnitude, we can control the width of the pulse. So now we will come to Fourier series part. So why we do the Fourier series analysis? To detect the number harmonics and waveform quality. So we will do the Fourier analysis to detect the fundamental as well as other harmonic component in the output voltage waveform. So in the output voltage waveform, it have the odd wave symmetricity. So A0 and An Fourier terms are 0. Only Bn term will be there as in the previous VSI lectures. So it has the Fourier series analysis. If we do, then we will have to find the Bn. So Bn can be written as a 2 upon pi minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So width of the pulse is from minus pi by 2 minus d to pi by 2 plus d, and Vs having amplitude and sin omega t, because it is a square periodic waveform which is sinusoidal in nature. So if we do this integration part, we will obtain the Bn to be 4 Vs upon n pi sin n pi by 2 sin nd. So this is the Bn amplitude, and sin omega t will be there for the sinusoidal term. So this is the n term dependency on the n term, which is a harmonic number. So output average output voltage of the nth harmonic number which will be given by 4 Vs upon n pi sin n pi by 2 sin nd sin n omega t. Now we have to eliminate particular number of harmonics, particular sequence of harmonics. Then what we will do, we will put this value of n into this expression. See, if v0n equals to 0, if nd equals to pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. So if nd equals to pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, if we put n in the integer multiple of pi, then this sin pi will be there. So it will make the whole expression to 0. So if it will make the v0n to be 0, that means the particular number of harmonic, a particular order of harmonic will having amplitude equals to 0. So if amplitude equals to 0, then no harmonic present will be there, because it doesn't have any magnitude. So if we put nd equals to pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, then output voltage corresponding to harmonic will be 0. And now we will find the n value of d. So if we divide n into this right hand side part, then it will be d equals to pi by n, 2 pi by n, 3 pi by n. We divide this n to right hand side. So d equals to pi by n, 2 pi by n, 3 pi by n. And but pulse width of the half cycle, we will define it to be a 2d. So to make this 2d, we will further multiply by 2 in the right hand side. So it is 2 pi by n, 4 pi by n, and 6 pi by n. But we know that this pulse width of 2d in the half cycle, so it doesn't cross the pi, so it always less than the pi. So 2d is always less than the pi if we want to reduce the harmonic of the output voltage waveform. So condition to eliminate the nth harmonic and validity only if 2d less than pi, because this 2d pulse width is less in each half cycle, so it always less than the 180 degree. So in this way we will complete single PWM technique, by which we can see that by varying the pulse width of the this output voltage waveform, we can control the voltage magnitude or output RMS voltage of the inverter. In next technique we will see multiple pulse width technique. So in multiple pulse width technique, we will have several pulse, multiple pulse in the per half cycle, but here only one pulse per half cycle. So it is called as single PWM technique. So we will continue our lecture with multiple pulse width technique. So thank you.